everyone, Tony Sonic here. I just watched the Sonic movie 2 a few days ago, and I've also watched some reviews, and I'm ready to talk about it. But, before I do, I want to show you all this dope as heck poster that I got when I entered the theater. Apparently the theater I was doing was giving out these to anyone who was going to Sonic 2, as well as an IDW comic to go along with it. Honestly, regardless of the actual movie's quality, these alone make it worth it. Now that I said that, let's get started. 2 years ago, the world basically ended. You all know the story of what happened in 2020. You lived through it after all. But despite the year of hell, one light shone through the darkness. Sonic the Hedgehog made his debut in cinema. If you want to know my thoughts on that movie, I'll give you a brief summary. I thought the cast was great, the action was good, most of the jokes land, but the ones that don't really don't. But overall, it was a solid start to a potential Sonic cinematic universe. The skew, if you will. And Paramount has apparently capitalized on it, since not only did we get a sequel, but we're also getting a third movie as well as a TV series exclusive to Paramount+. Those, however, are better suited for another time. For now, we should discuss how the sequel turned out.
Pun entirely intended.
So, the plot of the movie is like this. After the events of Sonic 1, Eggman is stranded in Mushroom Hill Zone, but thanks to his genius, he's able to draw people to his location. Sure enough, Knuckles arrives on the planet and Eggman gets him to take him back to Earth. Meanwhile, on Earth, Sonic is trying to be a hero and it goes just as successfully as you might expect. After some advice from Tom, aka the best human character in all of Sonic, Eggman and Knuckles greet Sonic with a little scuffle, but Sonic is saved by everyone's favorite fox, Tails, who is looking to help Sonic. After they escape, they learn that Eggman and Knuckles are after the Master Emerald, the ultimate power in the universe. Obviously, they don't want that to happen, so a chase ensues. There's a lot to cover here, both good and bad, but thankfully more good than bad. Let's discuss that good first. Just like the first movie, the cast does a great job. Sonic has definitely matured a bit since the last movie, but he's still childish, which is fine considering the events of the first movie. He's generally funny, but willing to be serious when it comes down to it. Tails also does a good job, although weaker than Sonic. By the way, Tails' voice actress, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, is the same person who voices Tails in the games. It's not every day that a voice actor gets to reprise their roles in movies and games, so major props to that. Jim Carrey's Eggman is just as fun as he was in the first movie, though he does go a bit harder in this movie. I have heard people criticize that aspect, and while I can see where they're coming from in certain scenes, I still enjoyed him throughout. Tom and Maddie return, and they're still fun, save for one part we'll discuss later. But easily the best character in the movie is Idris Elba's Knuckles. I love this guy. He's honorable and stoic most of the time, but he also doesn't understand most things. It's frankly hilarious how he talks about most Earth things, and it never gets old. Speaking of funny stuff, comedy is a major part of this movie, just like the first, and most of the jokes land. I was especially laughing really hard at 2 of them. The action is also really well done, especially in the endgame. In fact, that final act had me cheering in the theater, because I have absolutely no shame. No spoilers, unlike everyone else on the internet, but if you're a Sonic fan, you will love the third act. The movie's also really faithful to the source material. There are references sprinkled throughout, and all of them make me smile. There are some tweaks to the lore involving the Master Emerald, but it's minimal and doesn't bother me too much. Besides, the rest of the movie is so faithful that I don't care at all. And it's not like the games have ever given us anything. Unfortunately, this movie isn't perfect, and it has its downsides. I said earlier that most of the jokes land, but the key word is most. A few of the jokes don't really stick the landing. Now, I didn't actually groan at any of them, but they did feel like the writers thought they were funnier than they actually were. What did make me groan are 2 scenes in this movie, one of which involves a dance-off at a bar. Now granted, the scene does help to develop Sonic and Tails' relationship, but a cringe scene with purpose does not make it not cringe. The other scene that made me groan was the wedding scene involving Maggie's sister Rachel. Now, I liked Rachel in the first movie, I thought she was funny, but this scene goes on for way too long and does nothing to progress the story. This honestly should have been cut altogether, but you can keep the rest of the wedding stuff as that is pretty important. Another thing that kinda disappoints me is the Sonic vs. Knuckles fight. Okay, this is a light spoiler, so skip ahead to this time if you want to avoid it. Honestly, this fight was too short. It felt like it ended right as it began, even though it was looking to be a pretty cool fight. but they just decided to cut it short for seemingly no reason. It's especially sad since this was the part of the movie that they built up the most. I went in expecting an epic rival fight, but instead I was like, wait, it's over? This should have been much longer. Oh, and Gunn is also in this movie. In the way. Being totally useless, irritating, and stupid, which is accurate to the games, I'll give them that. But still, why do you exist? Despite my criticisms, I did enjoy Sonic 2. It's a really great movie and worth the price of admission. But the real question is, was it better than Sonic 1? I think so, but not by very much. Sonic 2's in a weird position where the highs are definitely a lot higher, but its lows are also a lot lower than the first one. I still got more enjoyment out of that movie than I did this one, but the original is still very close behind. In any case, to wrap up this video, allow me to showcase my rating score, which is going to apply to all reviews from here on out. I even got descriptions for each number so you can get an idea of how good or bad a movie is, in case you can't tell from my numbers for some reason. And with all this said, with all the pros and cons Sonic 2 has, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's awesome.
Sounds like you had a good time.
Oh, hey, DT. Yeah, I did have a fun time.
Well, I'm glad you did, because now you gotta suffer with...
Ah, piss.
Why are you looking at me like that? Oh no. No. I am not doing that video. What? Just because of the dark version of you? That's hardly a reason to do it. I'm not doing it. I won't do it. You can't make me do it. No!